Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Enjoy your work more and you will feel happier. Now, we've all known and grown around this statement, or people believe in this logic that when I'm successful, I will be happy. When I get married, I'll be happy. When I, achieve X, Y, and Z, I'll be happy. And, when I get higher income or more wealth or whatever, their own definition of success, that they will be happy. Well, it actually sounds reasonable, because you know what happens when a lie is constantly told? It actually starts to become true. But you know what? Science and actual fact depicts that you don't necessarily need to actually achieve that success for you to be happy. You literally have to be happy first before you become successful. And right now you might be thinking, where does he get off thinking like that? You know what I mean? At some point in your life you might have said something like, oh man, I'd be happy if I could just put maybe an extra $1,000 in my pocket this month, or if I could have $10,000 of new business coming in that particular month. And you would think, that would really make me happy, right? Or maybe that would actually make you happy. Answer that question yourself. Would an extra $10,000 make a difference to your life right now? Of course, the answer will be yes. All right. Yes, you'll be happy to have maybe achieved that goal. But let me tell you what, that state of happiness would actually pass quickly. There's times when I've received maybe $25,000 in my account, and I've just looked at that notification, and that's all it is really. Because by the time that $25,000 comes into my account, guess what happens? 50%. Obviously, I pay myself that because I've worked hard. 30% goes to the actual provision of the service, which is about $7,500, and then 10% of that money goes to tax, no matter what. And then that's $2,500 of that money that then goes. And then obviously I bake my profit into every fee that I pay. So pretty much 5% of that goes into my profit account, and 5% goes to my investment. Automatically, that $25,000 is just gone like that. And you have to start all over again. But the one thing you should be mindful of is the person who you are becoming, who's worthy of earning that $25,000. And that's one thing that a lot of coaches and consultants miss out on, because they listen to people in the guru casino telling them about this new and shiny product that they're using to earn money, but they don't quite understand and actually put themselves in a position to be earning that kind of money. It's like putting a big, nice, shiny roof on your house and the foundation is weak. That house is just going to fall in and of itself. So yes, you might want to achieve that goal, but if you haven't worked yourself to become that person who can earn that kind of money, or who can enjoy those, kind of experiences, you will soon let it go. Have you ever seen how people, act as soon as they win the lottery, right? Because they haven't become the person who actually can sustain that happiness, that can sustain that wealth, that can sustain that relationship that they've just, got themselves into. All right. So yes, you might be thinking, oh, you know what, an extra $10,000 will be really good for me right now. But if you haven't got the systems, the processes of actually looking after that $10,000, guess what? It will soon go back where it came from. You know why? Because your thermostat of who you are or who you see yourself as has not become the person that's a $10,000 earner, or that's somebody that can keep that $10,000. So I'm going to ask you again that question. Do you think happiness drives success, or it's the other way around? Okay, so we're obviously going to be going through this, and I want you at the end of this podcast to actually realize that the journey is much more important than the actual destination. And I'm hoping that I'll leave you with 3 tips on how to actually enjoy and focus on the process of success instead of the actual event of success, because the event only lasts a couple of seconds. All right, the event only lasts maybe a day or whatever it is, but what you have become, who you have become in the process, is what actually lasts forever. You know why I feel like the education system is is misleading in such a way? Because I'm going to talk in terms of my own experience. All right, so when we are growing up, you would go through 4 years of high school, and then you write an examination. All right, so you can imagine you're toiling, you're learning, you're experiencing all this stuff for 4 years, and then you're only going to be graded on how you did in those 4 years from a 45-minute sitting or a 45-minute exam. Do you know how many people stress so much about that exam that they don't even enjoy or even forget what they went through, during that 4-year experience? Now, isn't that a waste of everybody else's time to just work towards that 45-minute, examination time instead of actually enjoying the process? Listen, the journey is much more important than the destination. And do you actually understand what this really means? Because if you want to be successful, I hope you're listening and taking notes to this podcast today. So what I'm just trying to say, and what I'm just trying to put together here, is the success that you actually feel when you make that extra money, when you meet that girl, when you get that client, might actually have brought you what we call transitory happiness. Happiness that is just temporary. It did not actually transform you into a happier person. Now, wouldn't you want to be a person that's happy throughout, instead of just being happy for 3 seconds in maybe 3 years? Would that be a life worth living? You see, this is just as true as any bigger successes, because you have to work your way towards achieving that success. And if you're not picking up any of the little successories, any of the little achievements along the way, and enjoying and all the experiences, then you're not learning anything. And if you're not learning, you're dying. So you're just fast tracking your death by putting yourself through some sort of an experience that you're not even going to enjoy in the process. I mean, you might be deliriously happy about bringing in a huge client, but what did you do along the journey in order for you to attract that kind of client? And can you repeat that process? Because yes, you might just be offered that client, but if you don't know how to repeat that same process again, and if you don't know how to actually maintain that client, guess what's going to happen? That client is going to leave, and you're going to be depressed, and you're actually in a worse off position than you were, instead of having paid attention to how you actually got that client, so you can repeat that and experience that happiness over and over and over and over again. All right, that's the reason why when you've got your marketing and it's firing on all cylinders, and every single bit of your collateral or your social media or whatever it is that you're doing in marketing, if it's working repeatedly and consistently, guess what happens? You never have ebbs and flows. Okay, a lot of people going through depression, a lot of people going through even suicidal tendencies, because they went so high up and now they can't unsee what they have seen, but they don't know how they got up there, because they were not paying attention to the journey. All right. So at the end of the day, you really got to pay attention to the journey, because life is just a series of small moments. And the goal in life isn't to acquire things, but rather you need to learn how to focus and enjoy the process towards your success. And I'm going to say this with utmost love and respect. With however you're defining success, it might be you being a better mom, a better dad, a better entrepreneur, whatever you see success as. Pay attention of how you're getting there, so that you can repeat the journey and you can sustain the happiness that you're going to be enjoying. Because what's the point of you showing yourself what you can do and then spending the rest of your life not being able to experience that happiness? So like I keep saying, and if you're taking note, happiness actually drives your success, because now that you know what's possible, guess what? You're going to repeat that same process and you're going to achieve those results, and you now have sustainable happiness, not just a random act of happiness where it leaves you depressed 9 times out of 10 opportunities that you have. All right. So success is not the cause of happiness. All right. I want you to understand this, my Internet Explorer. Success is not the cause of happiness. It's the other way around. Happiness is what brings success together. So if you decide, okay, making $1 million dollars a year is not a reliable indicator that you're going to be happier than somebody who actually makes $35,000 a year, but they know how to invest it, they know how to keep most of it, they know how to actually share it with their loved ones, and they are appreciated for them showing up in the lives of those that they care the most about. Because I know a lot of people that have got $1 million in their accounts, or in their savings, and it's disposable income to them, but they're not happy. They are public successes, but private failures. There's a lot of unhappy millionaires out there, and I speak to a whole bunch of them, and I'm like, dude, you're making more money than I am, but look at you. You look depressed. You look like you've got a ball and chain that's tied onto your neck. It's because they chased the proverbial success, but they did not actually go after the process or the happiness that it needs to be achieved on your way to success. So, it is actually true that happy people tend to be more successful. You know why? Because some people have actually learned what needs to happen in order for them to sustain that happiness towards their goal to be success. So happy, positive, upbeat, optimistic people usually are more productive at work, they're more creative, and they're more likely to achieve their goals, because they've figured out what is the actual thing that brings all those successes that everybody else craves for. Okay, so there's a lot of science behind what I'm talking about, but one thing that you should really understand, okay, and how you should actually look at this is you literally should look at your work. You literally should look at who you're spending time with, what you're spending time on, because you need to identify the kind of work that you're best at and you enjoy the most, and that which you can give results to other people for. There's a lot of research that you can look up online, but I want you to unlearn the idea that when I'm successful, I'm going to be happy. Why not be happy at the moment? You want to enjoy your work more. You want to enjoy your company more. If something is not making you happy, if your clients are bringing you nothing but misery, if your phone is bringing you nothing but a bill, get rid of it. If the place you're living in is not sustainable for your own happiness, you wake up tired and you can't even exercise, you can move. You're not a tree. Enjoy your work more and you will feel a lot happier. And the happier you feel, the more successful you'll become. So, you do know the expression that I mentioned earlier on, that the journey is much more important than the destination. Do you actually know what this actually means? All right. Like I said, if you want to be successful, listen up, because in life, all right, this moment counts. This second counts. It's all a series of small moments. And the goal that we are actually, going through these whole motions is so that we can be, do, and have a happier existence. But how do you do that? You need to live the best life, and you need to be learning along the way. And for you to feel fulfilled, you actually have to contribute to other people and enjoy the process of you actually being successful. So if you obsess on that actual outcome, whatever it is that you would know when you have arrived, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever noticed that when you're going to a destination, you put the address of where you are going, right? And as soon as you arrive on that destination, my GPS is notorious for this. It automatically deletes the whole journey. It just recalibrates itself to its home screen, and they're selling me whatever new products that they have. They've forgotten that I haven't actually seen where I'm going. It's just telling you you have arrived, that's what you wanted, and our transaction ends here. Doesn't that make you feel empty? Because along the journey, I was watching the streets, the lady and the GPS was talking to me along the way. I was literally enjoying the process. But as soon as we arrive at the destination, whoop, everything goes back to his home screen, and they're selling me an upgrade for the TomTom. Let me tell you something, man. If you obsess about the final outcome, you actually end up missing out on all the amazing things that will happen along the way. Like yesterday, the reason why I'm really pumped up about this show today, this episode today, and also something that happened with a client today. Yesterday, my little girl was helping her mom. She's not my little one, my older little girl. She was helping her mom fix up a flower pot. So, it had the instructions of what to do. It's one of those things that you just piece two pieces together. And she took a very long time putting it together, and she was really happy about what she was doing because she thought she was helping. But I think all she just wanted was to have the final product, in front of her. So this is what she did. She fixed it up, and then she did not tie one of the legs up securely, okay? Because she just wanted to show people that she had completed this whole thing. And then she came with flower pot in my office, and then she's like, "Dad!" And then she put it on the ground, and then that one leg that was not stable actually gave in, and then the whole flower pot was on the carpet, and all the sand was all over the place, and she started crying because all that she wanted was to show people that she's capable of helping and she's capable of creating something. She was after the result. She did not take the lesson. She did not enjoy the journey. So all that she did was now all on the ground, on the carpet. So I wasn't angry at her or anything else. I just actually hugged her, and I was like, did you enjoy making it though? Because that's what matters. All right. Nobody is going to care to see what you did, or after it's been created. People are just going to care if it was done properly, and if you can do it again, mom would then start relying on you, because that's what matters. All right. So and I think I'm hoping that she got that lesson. I'm really hoping she did, because it's not the outcome that actually, it does, but it's not the destination, but it's the actual journey. It's the actual process of her learning to be helpful within the family, to be relied on. All of those lessons were happening while she was fixing that flower pot. I used to live by the rule that all that matters is if I make it to the finish line. All I wanted was to become a model. All I wanted was to become a dad. All I wanted to be was an entrepreneur. All I wanted was to be successful. And I've achieved all of those things. I thought if I had a fancy car and a big house, then I'd actually finally be deemed a success. But every level has its own devils. So if you start chasing, certain, trappings of life, guess what? It's a vicious cycle. You will never get to the top of the rank, because at any given moment, you are at the bottom of some packing order. And that wouldn't be a way to live, because you're always chasing the next thing, and you're never fulfilled. And you actually let go of your health, your wealth, and everything else that comes along with it. Ultimately, all I was doing was just delaying my happiness up until I reached my goals. Now, I wanted to be a model, and I became it, and then what? I wanted to be a dad, and then I became it twice even, and then what? Instead of me enjoying my girls, I was just like, I need to take a photo with these girls just so that I can put it on social media and people can like it, just to see how beautiful my girls are. That's not how it is, man. I needed to enjoy moments with my girls. Like this time, this Halloween, I went out as Bleepy, and my girls were really proud of their dad, and it's moments like that. And I didn't even take any photos. We did take photos for memories and everything else. Ever since I got myself off of social media, it's no longer about, asking or looking for validation from other people. It's now, am I enjoying this moment? Is what I'm doing making me feel happier? So I now have all these little successes in my life. If my girls can accept me as their dad, can accept me as the person they can rely on, we laugh, we've got our songs that we sing. That's now being a dad. Instead of me just wanting to achieve dad status, now I've got girls that are proud of me, that are learning from me. One of the one that had a flower incident yesterday is actually starting her own business, and that's going to be the way we're going to be working together as a unit. Let me tell you something, man. Joy comes when you're actually striving for your own potential. You know what I mean? All the small mental victories lead to an outpouring success. All is based on how well you show up in the world, how you actually relate to other people, and how other aspects of your life are actually working in unison. You can't do well if you're not feeling well, So as I was saying, back in the time, I just wanted to be an overachiever. But the problem that I was coming up against every time that I reached a specific goal or milestone is I would quickly move on to the next, then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And it all just didn't feel like I was achieving anything or I was even making any form of progress. It was like I'm on a hamster wheel. Okay, so, if I achieve this today, then that. If I achieve this, then that. Do you know what I mean? I was never satisfied. And nothing, ever made sense because I was not stuck long enough to actually start enjoying, the fruits of the work that I had done. I just wanted to achieve and then pretty much move on to the next thing. It's just shallow living. I was literally addicted to achievement, never satisfied, and always moving to something bigger, better, faster. Up until I started burning out, and I was like, wait a minute, this is not how I sort of wanted to live. It sounds like a noble badge of honor when people are like, "Oh, I'm so tired," or "I'm a bit stressed." Unfortunately not. It's a sign of the fact that you haven't got your stuff together. Trust me when I say that this mindset only causes a lot of stress and frustration. And if you're constantly looking maybe into the future, you're missing out on a lot. Yeah, you might have 2020 vision. Everybody else was looking forward. But look at this. We've had the last couple of years where we literally was told everything that we do is non-essential. Very few people that are listening to this podcast right now, their work is actually needed in a world that we lived in the pandemic. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that your goals are not important. You know what? I'm actually a goal-oriented individual, and I pride myself on my ability to set and achieve my goals. But if I can tell you one thing, the success in my life has been due to part, in a large part of my commitment to learning how to actually enjoy the process as it unfolds. Because now I've been married for 7 years and I've enjoyed 5 of those. The first 2 years, we just wanted to do everything. But now, no, wait a minute. I'm enjoying, cooking for my family. I'm enjoying creating traditions with my family. All of those things. It's been through trial and error. But I've learned, that, goal attainment is merely a byproduct of a journey towards success. You've got 365 days. If you're not enjoying every second of those days, then you're missing out on the point. I mean, it's not the result that matters. Rather, it's the lessons that you learn and the person you become. Like I said, yes, now I'm earning about $25,000 a transaction, okay? And if you end up working with me, you will notice that is what is actually happening within the business. But I had to work towards that. I just didn't wake up one morning and, that's what I was now earning. It was through trial and error. Tears and everything else came out of my eyes. And I've learned that, goal attainment is merely a byproduct. It's not usually the result that you need to focus on, but you need to be learning what you need to achieve. And then once you have learned, you need to, like I say, send the elevator down. Help other people, So if you find yourself constantly looking for ways that, that you're not having fulfillment within your business, you just hope, you skip, you're jumping, and you're not landing anywhere else, I just want to leave you with 3 things on how you can actually enjoy your success while you're working towards the achievement of your goals. First of all, you've probably heard of Eckhart Tolle. He talks about the power of now. Right now, I don't know what time it is or where you are or what it is that you're doing. You're probably walking your dog. You're probably lying on your bed, or you're probably just doing your work while this is playing in the background. How is your life right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, like seriously, how do you feel about where you are and what it is that you're achieving right now? Would you keep doing what you're doing right now? Is what you're doing bringing peace in your world? I mean, your life is literally unfolding at this present moment. And unfortunately, so many people just look far ahead and miss out on what's happening in front of them. Are you happy? Are you literally moving towards your goals? You know, we're always constantly looking forward and worrying about what's to come instead of actually paying full attention as to what's in front of us. You know, every time that you are breathing, your kids are growing, your business is growing, your team is collaborating, and things are happening. How are you taking the time to actually notice what's happening around you? I really encourage you to be mindful of how you move throughout your day and pay attention to what you're thinking, how you speak to people, etc., because I think it's, you know, if you actually look it up, people that are mindful, people that live in the moment are usually happier, they're more exuberant, because right now, right this second, you don't have any bills. In this very second, you don't have any marital problems. In this very second, you don't have any kid problems. In this very second, you don't have any health problems. But if you think about it, you take yourself to your past and to your future, and then you're now, you know, in disease. You know, if you concentrate on the now, right this second, nobody wants anything from you. Right this second, the bank is not going to call you. Right this second. And if you increase the amount of seconds that you live constantly in the now, you, my friend, will have a happier existence. And by being more present, guess what happens? You become more self-aware, and you can actually make better decisions that serve your highest self. Because if you're not in the now, you're living in fear. And with fear, it's just a false evidence appearing real. Remember, success is not a sprint. Brother, it's usually a marathon. And, you know, whatever you want to achieve in life, you require to pace yourself, because life is as long as you will live it. I want you to enjoy this moment, because you're never going to get it back. This moment is just gone. That moment is just gone again. And if you didn't enjoy that moment, look at how excited I am. And I'm working right now. Can you believe I'm at work right now? Can you say that about your business? Can you say that I'm actually excited to show up and do work that matters? Because you know what? I know that what I'm doing right now is going to help somebody be doing and have a happier existence. Now, who am I to stop you from actually living your life? That's what gives me the excitement that I have. And I worked hard to get to where I'm at. That's why I'm celebrating every single moment. I'm celebrating every stage of my progress. You don't have to wait for the big win or the lottery or whatever it is for you to be able to feel good about yourself. Just take note of the progress. Have you made somebody's life better? Have you learned something new? What are you grateful for right now? You know, if you look at all those things, there must be something that you will be grateful about. You know, let me tell you something, man. In this life, if you don't celebrate yourself, nobody will. And nobody cares. And if you're going through stuff, guess what, people? 99% of the people are glad it's not them, and 1% is happy it's you, so that they have something to talk about. I mean, you've been through stuff. Give yourself credit for whatever little achievements that you've made along the way. I give myself credit. You know, I've been just ranting on this podcast for 30 minutes. You know, I had to learn to speak English. I didn't even know I'll be able to sustain, a logical conversation and actually really help other people and keep going. You know what I mean? By showing up on this podcast every single day, I know a few people are starting to rely on it. That's what gives me the strength. Every single day, I'm excited because I get to spend time with you for 30 minutes. I get to, because I created it, right? It's not about whether you're going to buy from me or whatever it is. No, I don't care about that. I get to. And look at the positivity that I have right now. Can you imagine the call that I'm going to be on after I finish this? Or if I just walk into the living room and hug my little girls, they're not going to know what hit them. When was the last time you celebrated your progress? I mean, what was your achievement and how did you actually celebrate yourself? Because if you don't celebrate yourself, like I said, nobody else will. And if you can't answer that question, it's time to actually start looking back and look at what you've achieved. It's an integral part of falling in love with the process, because if you can start looking at, oh my God, I can't believe that's the growth I've had. You start loving yourself more. You start loving your work more. You start loving the people around you more, and you start living your life on purpose, because everybody else is just waking up. They don't even know where they're going or what it's going to look like. You're here for a reason. Too many people waste their lives just living somebody else's dreams. Are you actually doing stuff that you're meant to be doing? And you know what? We actually allow ourselves to be drawn in by whatever inner voices that we have, or society, or things of that nature. Take a deep breath. Stop. This moment is what means the most, because if you've got passion, I think it was Steve Jobs that mentioned this, people with passion will change the world. My passion is oozing out of the ears right now. You've probably put down the volume or something like that. Because when you live your life on purpose, you align yourself with the truth that you can change your world and the world of the people that you love around you. And you enjoy the process of becoming your best self. Everything just starts flowing. You know what I mean? And, whatever work no longer feels like work anymore. That's why they say if you enjoy what you're doing and if you love what you're doing, you will never work a day in your life. Yeah? So, the journey is more important than the destination. That's what I'm trying to say. And don't measure your success based on the results that you're achieving right now, because you haven't become who you are meant to be. You're still learning. So you want to learn how to focus and enjoy the process of the success that's coming. Because it is. If you stick long enough with something, the world will take notice. Life will take notice. Just appreciate the countless hours of time, energy, and practice, what you have to in order to achieve your dreams. Let me tell you something, man. If you do this wholeheartedly and look at every single minute that goes by, I promise you that you will achieve your goals faster. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. And if you like this podcast, just please share it. Somebody needed to hear this. Please share it. Okay? So like I was saying, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. Happiness actually drives people to be successful. It's not the other way around. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So, look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au